Hey guys, OG Albina here, bringing you guys my APA Season 6 Week 1 team builder against Titan is New Britain Rockruffs. Jason is a really good friend of mine in the community, one of my best buds, honestly. So please go check him out if you haven't done so already. He's a great player, he makes great content, and he's a really cool dude overall. So please go check him out if you haven't done so already. Can't recommend that enough. But besides that, if you're new here, this is your first video, really checking out the channel besides maybe like the draft analysis or something like that. For the leagues that I take more serious, I like to do little team builder videos and stuff like that the day prior to the battle, just because I feel like my strongest aspect in the draft league format is probably going to be my building prowess. I think I'm pretty solid in this aspect, and I really like to kind of share off the teams that I build and stuff like that, and kind of give you my insight into what I'm thinking in a matchup, what I think my opponent will bring, etc. So if it's not your cup of tea, totally fine. I do have the battle obviously going up tomorrow, and I didn't want to squish them into one video and add an extra 20 minutes on because I like to ramble about my teams a little bit. So, but for those nerds that really like the team building process, like myself, definitely these are the videos for you. But yeah, nonetheless, let's just jump right into the matchup. Jason has a really scary team, but I think we brought a pretty good squad to potentially take it on. 1 second, I totally forgot to pull up my team in the team builder, and that would probably be pretty beneficial, wouldn't it? Okay, so our team, if you did forget and you haven't checked out the draft analysis, which I highly recommend you do so, is going to consist of the Necrozma, Keldeo, Sylveon, Darmanitan, Delmise, Rhyperior, Boltund, Golisopod, Klinklang, Skuntank, and Gigantamax Duraludon, while Jason's team, which you can see on your screen right below you, is going to consist of the Komodo, Blastoise, Ninetales, Alola, Copperja, Piloswine, Rabombi, Rotom-Mow, Scrafty, Heatmore, Swoobat, and Gigantamax Toxtricity. Now, Jason has a really terrifying team there. It's basically Webb's Veil offense. He has some pretty scary setup threats versus me, in particular that Komodo and the Blastoise. Blastoise in particular is terrifying versus me, and I'll get into that in a little bit here, really soon actually, because our main check is on the screen right now, spoilers. But Komodo is also really scary because we do have a great check to it in Sylveon, but if we let ourselves get chipped into a range of a coverage move or something like that when he's set up, things are looking pretty tough for us, so we're going to have to be smart around that thing. And other than that, honestly, I think I can take on his team really well. We have to make sure that Webbs aren't on the field. Webbs are kind of a priority to keep off the field for us, or things get a little bit more tough. But other than that, I think we can handle pretty much everything. As Gigantamax Pokemon, we have a great check too. Copperja is scary depending on what move it clicks, but it does have to click the correct coverage move. We have pivots into all of those coverage moves, really, so it has to kind of pick and choose what it clicks. So it's kind of just a mind game at that point. But other than that, I think we take things on well. And yeah, let's just jump into the first mod, though. We've kind of stalled long enough. The first one is obviously going to be on your screen right there. It's going to be Big Keldeo. We're rocking out with an Assault Vest set, Justified Ability, Scald, Secret Sword, Icy Wind, and Focus Blast. EVs-wise, we are rocking out with 68 HP, 220 Special Attack, 28 Speed Def, and 188 Speed with a modest nature. I'll definitely put the Poke Page to this team in the description below as well, with like pictures of the EVs and stuff like that. I'm kind of recording this last minute, so I want to make sure I get it up. So I'll try and get like EVs on the screen in future team builders, stuff like that. But what this Keldeo does, this is going to be our main Blastoise check. Shell Smash Blastoise runs through our team otherwise. It absolutely tears us up. But this Keldeo in particular, we're not 2-hit KO'd with our investment by +2 modest Life Orb Blastoise Aura Sphere. So if he uses special Shell Smash Blastoise, we take this thing on pretty well, as long as we stay decently healthy. The only issue, and I think Jason's a great builder, so I think he'll definitely bring this, and we're gonna have to play around it smartly beyond that. Blastoise gets Zen Headbutt, and if he gets up to +2 and he's like a Life Orb Zen Headbutt, he actually knocks us out with just a tiny bit of chip with like rocks, like 2 rock switches, I think is all it takes to guarantee the KO. And that's terrifying. That set actually did it. Just reverse sweep me in a mock. I was playing with my buddy Milan, so huge shout out to Milan for the mock and help team building and all that stuff. Him and Silver really helped me out this week. So that's really scary. Our main goal with this though is we check that regular Blastoise really well, and this thing puts on a lot of offensive pressure on his team. If you look at his team, Dual Stabs plus Icy Wind go insane in this matchup. Speed, we outspeed Max Speed Rotom. There's a big drop off from Rabombi. I mean, not Rabombi. Ninetales, which is going to outspeed us anyways. all the way down to the Rotom. So it allows us to get that bulk while also getting that modest power that we're getting right there. So we just have the rest of the special attack outside of our speed and our HP plus speed def to check the Blastoise and stuff like that. So I think this thing is really, really important. Not only is just a good offensive presence, but it's something to really slow down that Blastoise, especially if it's a special Shell Smash set. Next up, we have our Sylveon. We're rocking out with the Berry Cute Charm ability, which we will get to. Moonblast, Mystical Fire, Wish, and Protect. Now, the reason that we're Cute Charm, this is going to be our main Komodo check, obviously. The Berry lets us take Flash Cannons, Iron Head, Iron Tail, stuff like that pretty easily. It also covers the Copper Jaw, so I figured it was a little bit nicer than potentially it could be for the Poison Jab from the thing, but I don't think he brings Poison Jab. I feel like Iron Head's just better neutral coverage versus my team. But, he definitely could just for that simple fact. But regardless, the Sylveon's a good check to that. However, if he is Soundproof Komodo, which I'm assuming he will be, we actually can't touch him before Hyper Voice Pixelate because that's a sound-based move, and he'll be able to block it. And then our check to the Komodo becomes setup fodder for the Komodo, and we will lose the game. So we are going with Moonblast. It's a little bit of a power drop, but you're going to see with the EVs that I explained in a minute, we're actually pretty offensively invested, so it kind of makes up for it in a way. But I can't risk him being soundproof and then losing to that, and I couldn't really afford the slots to go Moonblast plus Hyper Voice and have both. And I felt like that was a little redundant. Regardless, Moonblast is obviously going to be our main form of stab. Mystical Fire is mostly for that Copper Jaw. We do a lot of damage to that thing. Wish and Protect is obviously to keep things healthy. It's really nice for our Keldeo, keeping that thing healthy because it's an Assault Vest set. We can keep it relatively healthy if we're, pipping in and out on the right things, especially if Copper wants to come in on this thing. We catch it going for an Iron Head into Keldeo or something like that. We can get back up to full and threaten it out with the fighting move. So that's obviously super nice for us. EVs wise, what are we rocking out with on Big Sylveon here? We're rocking out with max HP, 132 defense, 76 special attack, 4 speed def, and 44 speed with a modest nature. Now, the reason that we're so offensive on this Sylveon is I'm really scared of Komodo. So in my head, the worst case scenario possible, the absolute worst case scenario, is that he's Clanger Soul, which he can definitely be in this league. It's definitely allowed. That'd be really scary, but obviously you think, well, even up, +1, you would knock him out because it's 66%. You're 4 times super effective. You're Sylveon, you're strong. You should be able to knock him out. However, if he is, Clanger Soul plus Roselia Berry, he actually lives after that +1, even at 66%. So what our investment does is it allows us to knock out a Komodo that's at +1 speed def with a Roselia Berry from that 66% if you'd taken Rocks prior. Without Rocks, it is a little bit of a roll. But after Rocks, he Clanger Souls in his Roselia, we will still knock him out with Sylveon, which I think is very, very important. Speed-wise, we have lots of speed. Honestly, just to get him kind of the mind game of creeping his creep of my creep, etc. With that Scrafty. If he wants to run a little bit more speed than the Scrafty, trying to catch us, not running too much on our Sylveon, I think we should outspeed. I don't think he should ever run more than this on his Scrafty because he needs it really bulky for a Necrozma, which is a menace versus him otherwise. And then we threw the rest in defense. There wasn't a big benchmark in particular I needed to hit with the Komodo. We're going to take the hits naturally pretty well regardless, and I figured, having that, strong offensive prowess with Sylveon this week on top of, being able to take those hits from Komodo was a little bit better than going max bold or something like that. So I think Sylveon is really nice this week. Really, really important to kind of help us mitigate that. Komodo, keep our Keldeo healthy and stuff like that. Next up, we have our Rhyperior. We're rocking out the leftovers. Solid Rock ability, Stealth Rock, Rock Blast, Earthquake, and Roar. EVs wise, we are rocking out with 164 HP, 36 attack, 20 defense, 140 speed def, and 148 speed with an adamant nature. Now, this is the 5 EV special. I love when Mons had turned out looking like this. It looks great in the team builder, but they all have a purpose, obviously, and we'll get into those. This is going to be our main Toxtricity check. Well, it is an amazing Toxtricity check. We don't really take anything from any of its coverage moves, any of its stabs, or anything like that. If this goes down, we do kind of just lose to Tox. So I thought it was a really neat to bring, even if he doesn't really bring Tox, which I could totally see, being the Rhyperior is on the team, and it's such a good check. We need this insurance just in case. It also gives us a rocker for this matchup, which is really, really nice. Chipping things out, especially that double fairy core. That's both Rock Speak. That's obviously super clean. And then offensively, doesn't switch into the stats very well, to be honest. Really doesn't. When it comes to EVs wise, what are we rocking out with? So our speed, we're not speed for no speed Scrafty. We're not creeping much beyond that, just because I needed the extra bulk on this thing, and I needed the what do you call it? The attack invest. I needed pretty much every other EV in this, so I couldn't really afford too much. Otherwise, our attack is enough to Oko max HP Copper off from full. So if he's just max HP on his Copper, we will knock that thing out with an Earthquake, which is really nice. Not having to take that Power Whip, which might even knock us out if he's like Life Orb or something like that. So that's obviously not good for us. Spadef wise, HP plus Spadef actually allows us to live a modest energy ball from Rabombi. Now, it's weird to be calcing obviously for Rabombi with our Toxtricity check, but honestly, Tox just doesn't do anything to us. There was no relevant calcs I needed to hit for Tox, and I figured in a situation that Tox doesn't come, but Rabombi is there, I lead Rhyperior, he leads off with Rabombi. He either tries to get up webs or knock me out with Energy Ball first, knowing I probably have Rock Blast for his Sash. We will live that hit unless he's like Life Orb or anything like that, and we'll be able to retaliate with a Rock Blast, knock it out in return, and be in a pretty great spot, honestly. If Toxtricity doesn't come, this is probably my least useful member, so I will 100% trade, Rhyperior for Rabombi in, like, any situation that Tox isn't there. So I figured that's obviously pretty nice. Roars to stop setup on us, so that, wider blasters can't set up on us. Clarence Soul, Komodo, Intimidate, Scrafty can't start bulking up on us. So I figured Roar was really important so that we're not set up fodder for some things, because this is probably the most set up fodder-ish Pokemon on our team. And yeah, that's going to be Rhyperior, what in the world? That's going to be Rhyperior. Really important for that Toxtricity. It's a great rocker. It deters that kind of web's lead. And yeah, next up, we have our Necrozma. We're rocking out with the leftovers, Prism Armor ability, Photon Geyser, Brick Break, Swords Dance, and Moonlight. EVs wise, we are rocking out with 212 HP, 92 attack, and 204 speed with an adamant nature. This Pokemon is phenomenal this game. Necro is great, minus the Scrafty. Scrafty is such a good check to pretty much every Necro set under the sun. It's not even funny. Other than that, it goes crazy on his team. Like, Dragon Dance does really well versus everything. Calm Mind does very well. All that stuff, Necro does great with, minus Scrafty. We don't really have coverage for it. And I didn't go Dragon Dance. I went Swords Dance over Dragon Dance, literally because of the fact that if he's Intimidate Scrafty at Dragon Dance up, then I'm back at neutral and Brick Break's not doing enough. So I figured Swords Dance was a little bit better because at least we'll be at +1 from that situation. We could potentially SD on it again if he's like knockoff or something like that. And then be at +3 and do a lot of damage to his whole team. We're really bulky. We can live pretty much one hit from literally everything. I don't think there's anything on his team that Okos us. Yeah, there's nothing that Okos us. So we're in a pretty good spot. This thing will either claim a kill or be able to set up and really be annoying. Moonlight gives us that reliable recovery. Photon Geyser plus Brick Break hits everything on my opponent's team really hard, neutrally or super effectively. Gives me great coverage. EVs wise, we have enough speed for Blastoise creeping Sylveon. So if he's only creeping Sylveon with his Blastoise, we will outspeed that thing. And then HP wise, we're not 2-hit KO'd by Adamant Pylo after Lefty. So if we have our leftovers and he is like max offensive, Pylo's fine because his stabs are actually pretty good versus me. We'll be able to live that hit, get our lefties, and be out of range of another Earthquake, which is obviously really nice in a scenario in which we can potentially set up on that thing and try and boost up a little bit. Brick Break also has the added benefit of breaking the Alola Ninetales Veil. If he ends up bringing Ninetales, it's actually a really good option to stop that from really getting annoying. And that's honestly really scary versus us. The Veil makes his setup mon so much more threatening, and just having that option to remove it, because you'll see it a little bit here. We didn't bring Skuntank to defog. Our hazard control is actually going to be spin this week with Delmise, so we're going to have to kind of mitigate and get around that Veil a little bit differently. But other than that, Necro is just phenomenal this game. It's a great breaker. I don't necessarily think it's just going to 6-0 sweep his team, but it serves a pretty nice purpose. It can pivot into a lot, because like I said, we're not even 2-hit KO by most things. Like, I don't think Copper most of the time. It's a really low roll chance for him to like 2-hit KO with like Life Orb Iron Head. So we should be mostly fine with Big Necro here. Against in the face of literally everything, he doesn't really have much that can revenge it. So I really do like this Ron this week. Next up, oh, there are my ribbons. We have our Delmise rocking out the Assault Vest. We're rocking out with 2 Assault Vest users this week. Steelworker ability, Power Whip, Rapid Spin, Anchor Shot, and Earthquake. EVs wise, we are rocking out with 220 HP, 156 attack, 4 defense, 28 speed def, and 100 speed with an adamant nature. Now, this thing is literally here for speed control. I mentioned it a little bit earlier on, but we kind of just lose if webs go up. Webs are a big deterrent. Oh, sorry, my dog's in my lap, sneezing like crazy. Are you okay, Snowy? But webs are really ugly versus us, so I wanted a way of getting those away. It also gives us a good pivot into the Rebumby. We don't switch into it well, just because our steel type is Kling Clang and Duraludon. Duraludon does not want to take a Moonblast under any circumstance, and honestly, Kling Clang isn't great here. And it could honestly probably take it on pretty well, but other than that, it does like nothing in this matchup. Sorry, puppy. So I figured going AV Delmise kind of fit both purposes. It let me take on that Rebumby pretty decently. Being able to Anchor Shot it down to its sash and then like Rapid Spin its hazards away in like a 1v1 situation. But that's honestly mostly what it's here for. It's also a good check to the Blastoise. He obviously gets coverage in Dark Pulse and Ice Beam to hit us, but depending on the spread, depending on where we're at, we can actually chew those hits and eventually knock it out with a Power Whip, which is obviously really good. So EV's wise purpose, we have enough speed for Piloswine and then a little bit more in case he wants to like try and creep our creep. HP plus Speed F actually lets us live a timid +2 Life Orb Dark Pulse from Blastoise from full HP, and then we threw the rest into attack just to do a lot of damage because there's another Mon that's kind of defensive like Keldeo this week, and it's going to be that bulky pivot into some things, but it does really well offensively as well. Like it's not easy for him to switch in to Power Whip, Anchor Shot, Earthquake, so that's obviously super nice for us. But like I said, this thing's main goal this week is going to be it says Brave there, but I think it's just because the way Pika Hicks does it is like it gives it Brave, but then it like does the right nature after. Let me check. Yeah, see, so that's adamant nature, you know, still. But yeah, it gives a nice bulky pivot to Rebumby, gives us hazard removal, and gives a decent offensive presence. It's just a nice bulky pivot. Probably our least useful member if Rebumby doesn't come, but other than that, it does pretty well here. And then lastly, we're rocking out with our Darmanitan, rocking out with a Choice Scarf, Sheer Force ability, Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Earthquake, and Trick. Max attack, 68 speed F and 188 speed with a Jolly Nature. I really wanted some speed control on the team. I almost went with Gmax Duraludon in this final slot, but I figured Darmanitan was a little bit better because all of the likely Scarfers I can see versus me underspeed Darmanitan. I thought that was really nice. He doesn't switch into it particularly well, especially if he's offensive Blastoise and offensive Komodo. They don't want to take that Flare Blitz, especially if they don't know if I'm banished. So that's obviously really nice. It gives me momentum. It gives me a way to, you know, really break through stuff like Copper and Voice Crack and Rotomo and stuff like that. So I do like Darmanitan this week. And another cool toy that I got, another cool little trick that I got is that was awful. Is going to be Trick. I actually got this as a DR this gen, which is really cool on a Scarf set because we can, you know, trick some potential walls, the Choice Scarf to cripple them. We can trick some of his setup, like if he wants to pivot into Blastoise on a Flare Blitz and we trick it. It's not a Shell Smash threat anymore. I'm not scared of Scarf Blastoise. I'm scared of Shell Smash Blastoise. So if we can trick that thing, we're in a really good spot. Same with Komodo, honestly. I'm not scared of a Choice Komodo. I'm scared of a setup one. So that's kind of why Trick is there. Earthquake is for the Heatmore because it does get Flash Fire. It also gives the move to click. Just for Heatmore and for the Tox, actually. It hits Tox the hardest because obviously the 4x weakness, and we'll always outspeed that thing unless it shifts gears up. So it's a good way of avenging that if our Raperior goes down, which is obviously really nice. And yeah, this thing just kind of serves some speed control. It gives us a decent breaker, puts on a lot of pressure, and forces switches for our other ones like Keldeo and Necro and stuff like that to get free switch-ins, which is good. We went with just like max attack and the speed we needed for Rotom. Just to hit as hard as we can and outspeed the things that we need to. And then we threw the rest into Spadef because of the fact that if this thing has to switch in and take a hit, it's going to be on the special side. Like if we need to switch into Rebumby, we need to switch into Ninetales because, you know, obviously resist those stabs, but we aren't the bulkiest thing in the world because we're a Darmanitan. So obviously we want to be able to take those as well as we can. I don't really see myself needing to take too many physical hits, so I figured the Spadef side of things would be a little bit nicer. But yeah, that's going to be the team. Let's go back up to Keldeo. So that's going to be the team. I think we do have the squad to do it. Like I said, I'm really scared of Mix Shell Smash Blastoise. That thing goes crazy versus me. Komodo is really scary. But other than that, I think we have the team to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new, be sure to subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like. Battle versus Jay should go up tomorrow. I'll probably get with him on what time in particular it's going to go up. But regardless, look forward to that one. Jay's a great player, and I'm really excited to be able to play him again. We always have great games, so I'm hoping this week is no exception. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.